Hello coders, I hope you are coding well. In the previous video, we completed and tested create question API call in our Spring Boot application. And in today's video, we will create get all test API for the admin in our Spring Boot application. So let's get started. So in our Spring Boot application to create the get all test API, first of all, we will open test service implementation, and in this class we will start writing a new method, and this method will return a list and we will import it from java.util, and this will be of test, and we will import this test from quizserver.entities package, and after this we will name this method as get all test, and in the body of this function we need to get all the tests from the repository, and after this we will apply a loop, and in the loop we will calculate the time of the test by multiplying the question size with time per question. And to do this we will write a return statement, and after this we will use test repository, and after this we will call a method find all, and then we will apply stream on it, and after this we will call a method peak, and in this we will name the single test as test, and after this to set the time of the test we will use this test and we will call a method set time, and in this we need to pass the total time allowed for this test, and to calculate the total time we will again use test, and after this we will call a method get questions, and this method will return the questions of this test, and after this we will call a method size, and after this we will multiply this size with test dot get time, and after this at the end we will collect it to the list, and with this our get all test method is completed in the test service implementation. Now let's copy this, and after this we will open test service and we will paste it here, and after this to create the endpoint we will open test controller, and in this class we will again start writing a new method, and this method will return a response entity, and we will name this method as get all test, and after this in the body of this method we will write a try block, and in this we will write a return statement and we will return new response entity, and in this we will use our test service and we will call a method get all test, and after this we need to set the status, so we will use http status and we will return dot ok, and after this we will write the catch block, and in this we will catch exception and we will name this as e, and after this in this block we will again write return statement and we will return new response entity, and in this first of all we need to pass the error message, and to do this we will use our exception and we will call a method get message, and after this to set the status we will use http status and we will return bad request, and at the end we will annotate this method with @get mapping annotation, and with this our get all test API is completed for the admin. Now let's run our application, and as you can see our application is up on port 8080 without any errors. Now let's go to the postman and let's test this API. So in the postman for the request type we will select get, and after this we need to enter the basic URL which is http localhost 8080, and after this we need to give the controller and method URL which is /API/test, and after this to call the API we will click on this send button, and as you can see we got 200 ok, and in the response body we got a list, and in this list we have the objects of the test, and for each test we are getting id, title, description, time, and after this we are getting the list of questions as well, which is not a good practice. Now to fix this issue let's go back to our Spring Boot application, and in our Spring Boot application we will open test service implementation, and in this class in the get all test method we need to convert the test into the test TTO before returning the response, and to do this we will apply stream on it again, and after this we will call map method, and in this map method we will call a method get DTO, and as you know this method converts the test entity to the test DTO, and after this we will collect it to the list, and at the end we need to update the return type of this method, and instead of list of test we need to return list of test DTO. And after this we will go to the test service, and in this class we will update the return type as well to test DTO, and after this we will run our application again. And as you can see, our application is up again without any errors. Now let's go to the Postman, and in the Postman let's call this API again, and as you can see we got 200 OK, and in the response now we are getting the data of test only, and as you can see for the test with the ID 1 we are getting the time as 60, and after this for the test with the ID 2 we are getting the time as 0, because we don't have any questions in this test. And that's it for today's video. In the next video we will write the code to call this API from our Angular application, and after the API call we will show all this test data on the admin dashboard.